Ladies and gentlemen, it's your host, your boy, George Mackay, back here again on another Ringside 5. And I'm here, as always, with my partner in crime, my PIC, P. That's right, partner in crime for podcasting.
Ooh.
The voice of reason, Michelle Arugio.
Hi everyone. How you doing today? Sorry, I got distracted by
Big
looking at
fucking time.
myself.
Jesus Christ. Again, there it is. There's the fucking ego that I was talking about. I'm going to talk more and more about this ego. And as we get towards that 1 year mark, we've already come up with the concept that'll be the roast of George and Michelle, but it'll also be all these clips of hearing Michelle's fucking ego. Holy shit, man. And people would think that I'd be the one to have the fucking ego.
You
I don't, when it comes to looks and shit, no way. I have no ego.
you guys don't hear what I hear.
Oh, fuck you. Listen, I have flow when it comes to like my wife being 10 times hotter than me in always.
10 times is not even like the
It's
right
like,
amount. It's
fuck
like a
you.
billion times, like a hundred
Wow.
billion
Oh my
billion
God.
times.
Whatever.
She is a rocket.
She is a rocket. It's factual. It is factual. All right, guys. Well, as always, we're back here in Ringside 5 for another great top 5. And this week's top 5 was something brought to us by ChatGPT. No, I'm joking.
Ooh.
I wish ChatGPT was our sponsors. Brought to you by our sponsors, George and Michelle,
Yay.
and my wallet.
These brains.
Yay, us. All right, this concept is stupid storylines.
Yeah.
5 stupid storylines that either had a resolution that were like, what the fuck? Or didn't have a resolution, and again, we were like, what the fuck? Or they did twice and still never gave us anything. What the fuck?
All the experiment 626s,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what this whole episode is gonna touch on.
And it's also going to be a lot of like, what the fucks? There's going to be a lot of swearing in this one. Just going to throw it out there.
Oh, you know what? I think we've already sworn a bit today, but
I
for
feel like
Lent,
there's a few more fucks left in the
I
tank.
I gave up swearing for Lent. Or like
Gave up.
I'm trying. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, I gave up. I gave up chocolate for rent, and I just had chocolate on the way home, so that didn't work. All right. Should we go with the number 5?
Yeah, let's get right to it.
All right. Well, I have the daunting task, the pressure-filled situation of 5, 3, and 1.
Yep.
That's right. I have to start this episode, and then I have to finish it. And Michelle's going to try to block it and make 4 and 2 better than 1, 3, and 5.
It's not hard.
I don't think so. I disagree. So 5 is a storyline that was done twice. It was done in the Attitude Era. Didn't have a resolution, then it stopped. And it was done in the Ruthless Aggression Era. Again, didn't have a resolution, and it was stopped. It was a voyeur. It was risque. It was GTV/FU. The storyline was done twice, and in the Ruthless Aggression Era, it could have been Eric Bischoff trying to just get dirt on everybody when he was an on-screen character, but never confirmed or denied. But this storyline, it was great. It gave us like some hilarious backscene segments. I mean, of course, one of them being, Eddie Guerrero in the shower with 2 of the divas. It gave us Mae Young and Mark Henry in bed after, and she's smoking a cigar, which is fucking hilarious. It gave us Triple H in the locker room, asking for cream for something. It gave us Edge and Christian trying to have like a kumbaya session. It gave us a lot of like wrestlers in vulnerable, weird situations. It gave us the British Bulldog and Stephanie McMahon meeting in a deserted restaurant. And there was so many different ways that this storyline could have worked. Who was behind it all? Is it someone that was going to try to screw the company from inside? Is it somebody who was, coming out for revenge on all these wrestlers? Who was behind GTV? We never got an answer. The storyline just went away. Then, like I said, they brought it back in that tail end of the Attitude Era going into the Ruthless Aggression Era, and they brought it back with FU, and it was better quality video, better angles, better this, better that, but still never resolution. These are just 2 storylines that just poof, done twice. And it's like both times they were like, okay, we're going to start the storyline up again. With a storyline like this, you should probably figure out the ending before you figure out how to get there. Figure out who are you pushing or introducing or reintroducing into the world of professional wrestling to make this storyline make sense. And I believe they did this storyline a disjustice of epic proportions and fuckery. And this is why I say this gets the first WTF of the night. Okay? This storyline was done twice and it fell flat both times. Michelle didn't even remember a lot of this because it was so bad.
I kind of blocked it out. I can't lie.
It was a memory that was blocked out.
Yeah.
And then I thought another moment tied into this moment, but it didn't actually tie into where DX took
Which
over the production truck.
makes you know, like you how it just was garbage because
It
you
was.
the good moments. You remember the good stuff,
Eddie Guerrero
right?
coming out of the shower and the two divas in the shower was probably, again, I was like 14 when I was like, damn, I would love to be in the shower with two divas.
Escandalo.
Yeah, scandal. Oh, vatos, it was crazy. But both times they tried and they failed. And the fact is, though, they did it twice in a span of like 4 years from each other. They did it twice.
Mhm.
Like they think that we're idiots and we wouldn't remember. So that's why this gets the WTF number 5. I'm locking it in. What do you think? What do you got? Again, you even said it earlier, just like literally a minute ago, that you remembered neither of these times.
Honestly,
So this storyline didn't resonate with you at all.
no, I don't remember any of the times. I think if I maybe went back and watched some of the little clip bits, maybe I'd be like, oh, yeah, I kind of remember that. But just talking about it now, I think it would have been revolutionary to do that as like a behind the scenes show. Like, even if like it was like 5 or 10 minutes, even one little segment every show. Like, for example, let me take you where I'm at now. People like to see behind the scenes of everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? They want to see all that stuff like The Office, like that, like I'm breaking the fourth wall kind of like, and I think that would have been ahead of its time at that time doing little segments like that if it just kept it up of like, this is just real stuff. There's nobody behind it. Like they're just camera set up and we're just catching these moments that are happening in real time in real life and like like make it a little mock thing.
And they would have still had creative control because even if somebody was to talk about the matches or talk about all the things that we know that happens behind the scenes now anyways, they would have been able to control the narrative and edit it out.
Exactly. And
It's
even
not
if
like
it,
this was
yeah, it'd be
linked to
like,
the internet.
okay, so yeah, you're gonna be on this week's like shit list for the episode or whatever, and we're gonna catch you behind the scenes and this is what it's, yeah, like I just think that would have been really cool if that was the case, but I don't know, maybe that is too ahead of the time.
To definitely be thought of, but the fact that like again, this was a 4 to 5 year span in between both of these segments, and it fell flat both times, and it was a huge disaster. And
No
it was
idea.
it was a storyline to me that I was just like, okay, what are we building towards? And then it just went away. And then when they brought it back as FU, I'm like, this is GTV, but they just changed the name, and the camera quality's better because obviously technology gets better with age. So okay, great, but it's just this not what's the end
What has
result? Yeah,
changed?
like who was the voyeur that was
It was me,
capturing?
Austin. It was me all along.
Now, see, that was a great storyline. This was not. So, this to me is just a stupid storyline, a failed experiment. This is something that they tried twice and failed miserably at. And this is to show you that TV writers do not necessarily get jobs to write TV everywhere. Write TV some places, but not in wrestling. What do you got, number 4?
So number four is gonna be actually really short and sweet and simple.
Hornswoggle.
No. I mean, I just need to say one word, Shockmaster. Okay, we don't need to say anything else. Like the build up to this was like, okay, what is this gonna be? And then like I feel terrible because obviously things went wrong and
It wasn't Fred's fault, but I will say this though: Fred Ottman has made a living and leaned into this.
which you know what is the measure of a true professional,
Dude,
right?
he even like they even brought a doll out to encapsulate this moment, and it came with a fake board to put underneath the doll so he could trip over it. Like it's a genius, and you have to get like I met Fred Ottman at a convention, and he, you could hold the Shockmaster helmet. He
That's
let
so
some
cool.
people wear it, but I was too shy. I was like, I'm not gonna wear that.
I'm not putting that on my
But
head in
like
there.
it was cool. Like you met him, and he was like super nice, and he's actually one of the big names that I was able to get on the show early on. And it's awesome. And I did tweet out share earlier that the natural disasters apparently is rumored to be into the Hall of Fame. It
Ooh,
hasn't been confirmed, but I would love that. I would love that. I think both Typhoon, the natural disasters, are one of the greatest tag teams. I mean, I even mentioned them
yes.
in somebody that they could have pushed in one of our earlier episodes. They natural disasters got such a short reign. And yeah, man, I loved it. I loved Typhoon and Earthquake, 150%. It was great. But yeah, so to continue, sorry to interrupt, but
No, no.
yeah,
That was
I had
what else do I say, right? Like
I,
you build it up and like it's unfortunate because like if that trip hadn't happened, like so many the dominoes would have fell a different way for sure.
yeah, but okay,
But
so can I ask this though? Can I ask this? Because I need to get your opinion on
yeah.
this. If the trip doesn't happen, is the Shockmaster live in empathy? Or does it just die as a character that was not good in the first place?
See,
does it have the staying power that it does now? I mean, that small change, one carpenter putting a board at the bottom of this fake wall, changed everything. It made the Shockmaster legendary.
yeah, but like they were building him to be something else. Like I think that just made him a joke. Like the only thing I can compare it to is was it Royal Rumble when Titus O'Neil was coming doing his entrance
Crown
and like
jewel.
yeah,
It's crown
crap.
jewel.
See, it
And
was
he,
something and he like and you know it happens, right? We're human and you know sometimes you trip over your own feet or you trip over like it
but he
happens,
tripped over his
right?
own feet and he slid at least 20 feet. Like, but also that's because he was, again, he was covered in baby oil. So he slid.
He slithered
Yeah.
underneath
And
the ring.
it wasn't like he was at a Diddy party or anything like that. He was just covered in baby
Oh
oil.
my God. But you know what I mean? Just like human error, things happen,
Okay, but these human
right?
errors have made both of those
I
moments live in infamy.
know. I
So I ask
know.
again, if that carpenter who built that wall didn't put that board and he came busting through the wall and it was normal, are we talking about the Shockmaster now?
I don't know, but I think we'd be talking about it differently for sure. Like, right? I think the fact that he tripped and that ended up happening, he falls through the wall basically. That ruins it. How do you big up somebody who can't even like make an entrance? Like, how do you say this is the guy, but he can't like burst through a wall properly? Like, come on, man. You know? So I think that's when it lost everything about it. Like I can even compare it to like Finn Balor. He was on a very high. He was on a high with the demon. He's set up for the title match. Unfortunately gets injured, you know, again, happens. But then that like shine, that fire, it's got like it burns out.
Mm-hmm.
It fizzles.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is a little different in the sense that like, you know, you can come back from certain things, but you falling through the wall like that I am not taking you seriously. I'm looking at the camera. I will not take you seriously. Okay. If that's how you make your entrance to the world or introduce yourself to me and you trip and you fall, I'm going to feel bad, but I
That's
don't
on
know if
you.
I can take you
That's
seriously.
on
I'm so sorry.
you. And it's nobody's fault but your own. Not the
Learn how to walk.
not the carpenter that put the board there. When you did the rehearsal, there was no board there. Then there was a board.
Him. Are you kidding?
Come on.
I say sabotage.
All right. Well, let's talking about sabotage. Let's switch gears now. We're switching from something short and sweet as the Shockmaster to arguably one of the
Mhm.
worst storylines in professional wrestling history, in my opinion. A storyline that I did not like. I'm not a religious person, so to me it was funny, and this is the satire. What do you how do you say it? The satire of it was, but it was just something that there's pushing the boundaries, and then there's just you're lucky you didn't get canceled, and how WWE didn't get canceled at this storyline, especially being American and how much people believe, live, and die by religion. You know how they always say that you should never talk religion, politics, or I guess race or sexual orientation with people because it always leads up to like some sort of debate.
There's always controversy, definitely, when
There's
it comes
always
to like
controversy.
those.
But yet WWE has made millions of dollars, near dare I say billions, off of political stance, off of religious views, off of views on everything else. And I get it. This is a different time period, but I look at this and someone who is not a religious person, I was just like, this is in poor taste. And if you don't know the story that I'm talking about Vince McMahon versus God, or Vince and Shane McMahon versus God and HBK, when both eyes were pointed directly at the camera.
Leave his eyes out of it.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done making the eye jokes. Hold on. Am I looking at you preferably or? All right. Anyways, so this storyline, we all know the history, we know the lore. Shawn Michaels was a rebel, was crazy, was wild, was all of the above, and lost his smile. And he went away for a bit. And then he came back, he made amends, found God and all these things, and he became like devout in his faith and his beliefs, which is awesome. Good for you. Do your thing. We've heard this story so many times. Sting was another person who
Mm.
went down that very similar rabbit hole. Now Sting is also like a preacher, like a pastor.
Hmm.
So like these guys, like a lot of them, they hit rock bottom and then they find, faith, and faith helps them regain who they were, which is awesome. We've seen that this story is a tale as old as time in professional wrestling. We've seen it work for a lot of guys who have come back, and we've seen it, fail a lot of guys. And you know, you look at a guy like Jake the Snake, you look at a guy like, you know, Scott Hall. They all had demons, but they found the will to recover. I don't think those two were so much more faith based; they were more DDP, kind of
Mm.
helping them.
Yeah.
But when you look at a storyline like Sting, and you look at like a personal journey like Shawn Michaels, a great journey. Sean Hickenbacker or Hickenbottom, what he went on was awesome, fantastic. And they decided to tie this in. They decided to again blur the lines of reality and showmanship and bring this in. Vince McMahon cut promos in black and white, and then they changed the tint to red. And then when they were facing each other, there was a bright spotlight that came down, gave HBK the power, and it made appearances on SmackDowns and Raw as this light, and it was just awful. It was awful. And it was not entertaining at all to me. The end match was. I always enjoy seeing the McMahons get their upcomings, their
Mm.
karma, if you will.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but Shane and Vince and HBK, it was actually a decent match. But the storyline was god awful, and how this made the impact of a 6 month story arc,
Oh my God, it was 6 months long.
6 months long, on and off,
Oh
six
my
months long,
God.
and it was god awful. It deserves the third WTF. Okay. I mean, think of the list that we've gone down. We've gone down GTV/FU,
Yeah.
the Shockmaster,
God.
and now Vince McMahon versus God. These are, and I mean, this is again why this is the five stupidest or stupidest storylines or failed experiments.
Yeah.
This is a storyline that should have had no staying power, and this is a storyline that I didn't even care if it had a resolution or not.
Hmm.
Vince McMahon versus God? No. I'm
No.
sorry, no. There's just some things that even myself wouldn't touch. And this is something that if I was a writer, or if I'm looking down the history
Mm.
of WWE, this is something I'm glad a lot of people have forgotten. But if you haven't, go through the archives. Just search up Vince McMahon versus God. You can find all kinds of nonsense. And it was just horrible. Shout out to the one TikToker though that did put the whole thing in perspective. It was a 42-second long video. If you actually type in Vince McMahon versus God, it's actually the first video that comes up. I'm not sure the gentleman's name, but he knocked it out of the park. Just by talking for 30 seconds. At the end of the video, he said, "This is so stupid." He's right. He's absolutely right. I'm locking it in at number 3. Michelle, what do you got? Vince McMahon versus God. Let me hear your opinion.
Stupid. But he has a deity complex because even with the Firefly Funhouse, he's the devil, right? So like it's clear that he struggles with a god complex, a deity complex, but I
You could struggle with something like that, dude, but I mean, to
wrestling is for everybody and everything, but God has no place here. Okay?
well, or religious views in a sense have no place here.
But like in that no, not even religious views. I think that's great. Like, you believe in God, you pray, you like that's amazing. But I just think that why in wrestling? Leave him out of this, man. This is not,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
you
Like,
know?
I mean, yes, you could be a devout of faith. I myself, I'm not going to say I don't believe. I'm just going to say that the life that I've led, some of the challenges that I've faced, it's not always prevalent that God is there with me. Maybe He is. Maybe I just don't recognize it, or she is. I'm not sure. But again, that's my personal beliefs, and I would never force my beliefs on anybody else. And I'm not saying that's what the WWE did here. Okay, time out. Wait, marks. Don't start typing on the keyboards
No,
furiously.
I just think Vince McMahon sees himself as a god and like who could he go up against
But
other
another
than
God.
God? Yeah, like and that is so Vince McMahon. Like stop. Like stop. Are you hearing me right now?
But he did, and he lost. And Shawn
Which
Michaels and God won.
So it shows that he maybe has a little humility or that like, people had to talk to him and be like, Vince, you can't
You
win
can't beat
against God.
God.
We can't do that because we need the Texans on our side.
Yeah, you can't. No, you
That
can't.
Bible belt
Yeah,
is
it's dangerous. Dane, don't fuck with the Bible Belt, okay? But anyways, Vince McMahon versus God, it was a legit thing in the early 2000s. It happened. Let us all forget about it. All right, what do you got for number two, man? How do you top Vince McMahon
Well,
versus
thanks for
God?
bringing that back to our attention, George. That's great. Vince McMahon versus God. For number two, I decided to go with, I guess they're a faction or like a group-toid of people.
Group Never heard that. Group.
But
Sounds like a something you would like a growth. What do you got there on
that's
your shoulder? Now that's a
that's
group toy.
that's exactly how I view them
They're a
because
growth?
yeah, because
Jesus.
okay, how many of them were there? Like what, five or six in total?
Five or six, and only one of them became a Dolph Ziggler.
Exactly. So if you don't know who we're talking about, it's the Spirit Squad.
Mikey,
Yeah, I okay,
Kenny,
here's
Stevie.
my highs and my lows when it comes to the Spirit Squad, okay? Highs, they were
Wait, hold
all
on. You have highs?
yeah, listen, they were all incredibly athletic.
They
And
were.
when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, they had segments with humongous names in the business.
They
Ric
were
Flair,
very much
DX,
mixed in the DX
all
and
all of that stuff, right?
DX versus the McMahon storyline. They were all a part of it.
The lows. Okay.
And there was a lot.
Woo! It's the fact that like yeah, they were the joke to everything, right? Like who wants to go on TV and be a joke or be like, right? I think
Be a group of male gymnasts.
yeah, right. I mean, incredibly athletic, incredibly talented. Like, don't get me wrong, but to know that, I think I was listening to it was Dolph Ziggler, and he was talking to Mr. Van Vliet about just his time being in the Spirit Squad, and he was like, "Dude, like, you couldn't touch Kenny. Like, it'd be like, okay, fine, but like anybody can get pinned but Kenny." Anybody, like, he was just describing his time, and like that kind of sucks.
Kenny Dykstra was the
Like,
big
he
push out of
was,
that group,
yeah,
and
and where's he
he
now?
he fizzled away
Where
like
is
crazy.
Kenny? Let us know. Let us know in the comments below, Kenny Dykstra.
I
I'd
think
like to know
there's
where
a
you
there's a
are and what's going
podcaster out
on.
there that I have had some dealings with. Great guy named Jonah. Recap, relive, rewind, the three R's. I believe he did have Kenny Dykstra on one of his
That's really
episodes.
cool.
Yeah, so check out Recap, Relive, Rewind. That's a great show. Jonah's awesome. Has a bow tie suit, very professional,
Oh,
very good
that's
guy.
cute.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's awesome. Man.
Nice.
He's pulled in some big names.
Good for
He
you.
he's got the subscriber count that a lot of us dream of that we'll never get.
Good for you, Jonah.
So there you go.
Keep going.
But I believe he did have an episode with Kenny, if I'm not wrong.
Kenneth.
Kenneth, if I'm not wrong, but if I am wrong, I'm sure he'll get him. He gets
Yes.
everybody. So shout out to Jonah, though. It's one of my favorite podcasters that's out there. He's great. But yeah, man, I
What are
agree.
your
I
thoughts?
agree with you. The Spirit Squad was, uh,
Like, that's why it's so sad because like they did get to work with so many big names, right?
but again, it's like the Mean Street Posse. They were there. They got to work at some big storylines, and then they
And
just
then
fell
that's
apart.
it. Yeah, right? I mean, they probably played their part in whatever story that
Hey,
they were,
listen, they got paid.
right?
They
Of
got their.
course,
They
of
did their.
course.
They did their job.
But I just think like I just think that was unfortunate because for real they could have made them into like a group of bad like if they turned the Spirit Squad heel.
But they actually were heel because nobody liked them.
Yeah, but with a name like the Spirit Squad, stop.
So
You're not a heel.
okay, but what would you
They were like the I'm happy to be here like
what would you do? Like greasers versus preppies? Like what would have happened?
no, like they were just like upset. Like they I think they like are
So do you
they
think
should
they
have
should
been
have
like enough is enough.
okay, so they
Like,
should
yeah, I'm not the joke. I'm not a joke here. Like, I'm an
Nexus?
athlete. I'm
Nexus?
a, I don't know. No, turn them into like super athletes of like they do have athletic ability
So
given the
like
fact that they're gymnasts. Turn them into some beasts, man. Make them like upset. Ruthless aggression. Come on.
I don't think either way would have worked.
I think so. I think that it could have been pretty solid if they turned them heel and really, but like turn them heel, not like a cheesy heel because they were like cheesy. They were really cheesy. Don't do it cheeseball. Yeah,
Mikey, Stevie,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If
Kenny,
you're calling them heels, they couldn't introduce themselves like that and be heels. Okay, that's
JV. I don't even
not
remember their names. I just remember one was Mikey, one was Kenny.
Mikey, Nikki, Kenny. I don't know the other
You know what
ones.
they should have done? They should have made them like American Gladiators. Nitro, Knickerbuckin, Smackaloo. You know, like, I mean, just go
Okay,
crazy.
so the heel turn could have been a little bit like an American Gladiator, but like just make them like
You
just
mad?
Angry frat boys. Like those guys are upset.
They did that with the Mean Street Posse. It was horrible. Okay, what about this though? What about if they came out like dodgeball?
Oh my God.
Like the Viper. So it's
Stop.
like, let me introduce you to the rest of my team. Laser, Blazer, Taser, and Ramona.
Isn't it Michelle?
Is it Michelle?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and my consigliere, Michelle.
Yeah, because it's the guy. It's this
Yeah, it's
guy, but his name is Michael in
but
French.
then there's the weird girl with the unibrow.
Oh, the Helga or
Yeah.
whatever her name
Oh
was,
God,
or oh, whatever.
you never seemed so lovely as you did tonight.
That's a great movie. I should probably watch it tonight.
Actually, Ari, I showed that to Ari not too long ago. I showed that to my
Oh my
9-year-old.
God, she probably loved it.
It's so good. So good. There's some stuff that goes over her head, but she loves the 5 Ds of dodge.
Oh yeah, of
Duck,
course.
dip,
Yep, yep.
dodge, dive, and dodge.
You said dodge twice.
She got to do it twice.
Also, did you know, side note, we're going to veer off tracks a little bit. During filming that movie, when Justin Long is taking the fucking balls, they actually like sped that out.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they
oh, yeah,
really
yeah,
like
yeah,
were
yeah.
lacing him with those.
So good, man. Such a great ensemble cast and so many great like moments. Yeah, Dodgeball highly recommend. Hi, this is Blockbuster Video. We're looking for Ass Bandits 3, Pirate Police 6, and Mona Lisa Smiles.
And Mona Lisa smiles.
Oh, fuck. Peter LaFleur. You know I know
Yeah,
what you know you're about. You
great
made me bleed
cast.
my own blood.
You made me. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Steve the Pirate? Who?
Steve the Pirate.
Who is
Oh,
Steve the Pirate?
Steve the
Me
Pirate.
be a little slow on my bounty.
You know what? I don't even know that guy's name, but anytime I do see him in things, I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God, it's
Steve
Steve
the
the Pirate.
Pirate. Yeah. All right, we're veering back. We're veering back. Okay.
Okay,
So Spirit Squad, we're
what
locking in at number 2.
those poor guys.
Um, yeah, I agree with you. I don't really have any words. But hey, shout out to Dolph Ziggler, who took a bad shtick, found a made it wake of work, and became multiple time WWF championship holder. Like he held the WWF title at least twice. I believe he was a 4 or 5 time in Intercontinental,
Yeah, I think
multiple
so.
tag team. Like he also won the US title once or twice. So he is a Grand Slam champion. So shout out to Dolph Ziggler. He made it work, Nick Namath, and he was the only one from the Spirit Squad that went on to
Yeah,
have any
exactly. Right?
success. And how the WWE let him go, I'll never know. But hey, he's doing his thing in TNA and he's kicking ass. So good for him. All right, and now number 1. Oh, where do I begin?
At the
Okay,
beginning.
there was a time long ago where a man named Stone Cold Steve Austin was walking through a parking lot. Then a Lincoln's lights shined brightly in the distance. A car was revved up, and fatally that night, he was struck down in the parking lot while he jumped over the hood. Soak it in. Months of investigation went by, video footage, possibilities found out the car was registered to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Then a revelation: Mick Foley took on the case, and the case became infamous. Then, on a Monday Night Raw, we were given the revelation of who did it. It was none other than mid-card wrestler Rikishi. He did it for the people. He did it for The Rock. He did it to be a main eventer. And he fell from a hell in the cell into a hay barrel truck. And that was the end of Rikishi as a main eventer.
I feel like I'm about to watch a really cool action movie. Or subpar, given that it's Rikishi.
You're about to watch WWE films. It would go right to DVD.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. The Marine 1, 2. Actually, the Marine 2, 3, 4, and 5. 12 rounds. 12 rounds 2 featuring Randy Orton. All right. Listen. Rikishi had no business being involved in this storyline. I mean, when I found out it was Rikishi, after months of trying to figure out who did it, and I found out it was Rikishi, it was horrible reaction. Like, even the crowd, if you go back and watch the video, the crowd's like, you did it for the people. You did it for The Rock. Dude, you did it for yourself. Fucking didn't do it for the people. You didn't do it for the bloodline. This is weird.
You're
Stupid.
a liar.
You know, your thing was you dance with Too Cool. Like that's your shtick. That was your peak.
Yeah.
You got a Hall of Fame career. I'm not sure why or how. But no. I would have preferred the typical answer. Yeah, The Rock struck him down. Or you know what? You know what I was really hoping for? I was really hoping it was going to be a McMahon and that we were going to get the corporation back. That's what I was hoping with that storyline, but we never got it. What we ended up getting was, I did it for the people. I did it for The Rock. And then literally 3 weeks ago, we got his daughter-in-law doing it for Bianca.
Oh.
She did it for us. She stood up for herself, and everyone turns her back on her. And then guess what? Jay Cargill beat her down twice.
Oop.
Shout out to Naomi though for making a neck brace studded though. I mean, way to bedazzle it, 100%. But again, it's a bad storyline back then when Rikishi did it for the people, and it's a bad storyline now when Naomi did it for Bianca. Like, sorry, no, I don't buy it. It was god awful. The way they did it was great. The storyline was great. Mick Foley as a detective, amazing. But Rikishi, no. This was a storyline that had, okay potential. It was something to fill the void in between like The Rock and Stone Cold saga. But then to have Rikishi mixed into it, nah. And even Rikishi versus Stone Cold, those matches were subpar. Rikishi was not a main eventer. I'm sorry. I get it. He's a Hall of Famer, and there are people out there that are going to hate what I'm saying right now, but I'm sorry. When I found out it was Rikishi, I could give two shits. I don't care that you did it for The Rock. I don't care that you did it for the people. It was a storyline that fell flat to me. So this was storyline, again, that had a potential, and then WWE just did what it does best. They threw shit up against the wall, and they were like, hey, let's give it to Rikishi. No. Bad idea. Bad ending to a story that might have had potential had they done it the right way. But they didn't. And they also left too much of a gap in time between the hit and run to Stone Cold returning. And I understand he, knee surgery and all that stuff. They had to write him off TV. I get it. But there could have been ways to go around it. And they didn't do it. They didn't do enough of this storyline to make it have wherewithal. And even also The Rock's reaction was, again, subpar. It was just him holding his eyebrow up the whole time. But again, go on my socials. I did literally a short of Naomi and Rikishi saying the same lines back to back. I did it for you, B. I did it for The Rock. No. That's number one. I don't care that Rikishi was the man that hit Stone Cold Steve Austin. This storyline for me is frustrating, and it hurts to even talk about it. But I'm going to give it the number one. I'm going to give it the number one WTF.
It even hurts to talk.
It does. It's one of those storylines that frustrates me. It does. It frustrates me. I would have rather the Spirit Sqaud be the ones that hit Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because then they would have got the heat that they would have got. Could you imagine all six of them leaning out the window? Mickey!
As they do a drive-by, that would be hilarious.
You know what I mean? But finding out it was Rikishi, I mean, even now when I was talking about it,
subpar.
You were yawning. Yeah. You were yawning. And I'm doing everything I can to make this storyline entertaining, and it's not.
No, I just think that I feel like that was like a last minute decision of like okay, fine.
That's what
I'm
saying.
Yeah,
Get up against the wall. Yeah. Okay, who are we going to give it to? Yeah. Well, let's push Rikishi. No. Rikishi was
we got to tie it into The Rock. How do we make this make sense? I think that's the question, right? How do we make this make sense?
You could have introduced somebody new. You could have brought somebody. You could have really done something.
Yeah. And then
they still could have tied it in. They could have had a connection with The Rock or done something. Like, even if they brought in Sean William Scott when they were filming the rundown and had him be the guy that would have fucking ran over Stone Cold, would have been more entertaining to me than fucking Rikishi. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel.
You got to bring it back to the family. So
the bloodline before the bloodline. Or did it for the people?
Yeah.
Well, now your son is going to main event. And your other son has got a bad character, Big Jim.
I don't like that.
Not a fan either.
Nope, don't like it. Every time. Michael Scott. Nope, don't like it.
No. I will say, though, that the promo last night at SmackDown that he did with Gunther, where he pretty much told Gunther that his brother's going to run through him.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. What I would like to see come out of this storyline is...
Am I thinking what you're thinking?
You might be.
Go ahead. Say it.
I would like to see not so much one brother fuck over the other, but I would like to see Jimmy come out, be so happy that Jay has the title. Jay has all the success. They'd kind of hand him the title, but as he's holding up the title, look at the title, and then we actually get brother versus brother, but respect respect with the title on the line. Because last year's WrestleMania, we got like I really had the makings of a good match, and I feel like it fell flat because also Jimmy was nursing an injury at the time, so I don't think he was 100%. But I feel like Jimmy versus Jay for the title as Jay's first like rivalry.
Single. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm okay with that because that's kind of something we never got with Owen versus Brett, and I would like to see how the Usos would handle it. And since I think they're both better actors than their father, they can pull it off.
Oh my God. Shots fired.
Hmm. So let's run through the list again, shall we? At
Yeah.
number 5, we have GTV/F View. The two times that this storyline sucked, both times.
Both times.
For number 4, we have
All times. For number 4, we chose the infamous Shockmaster.
Shockmaster and the Wall.
And
Absolutely.
the wall and that stupid piece of
Lumber.
whatever on the ground.
Yeah, the stick, the lumber, the support,
whatever,
the
the
support
shit.
2x4, the sport beam.
God damn it.
Did him in. Number 3, Vince McMahon versus God. Yes, it happened. Let's forget that it did. Number 2,
The Spirit Sqaud.
Mickey.
Mikey.
Ramona. Laser.
Ramona, Laser, and
Hey,
Blazer.
My consigliere, Michelle. And at the number 1 spot, Rikishi being the man that hit Stone Cold Steve Austin with the car because, again, he did it for the people.
He did it for The Rock.
He did it for The Rock.
No, I don't like when you do it. I don't like it.
Because I do it so perfect.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? I don't like your eyebrows. They're not shaped great.
They are fantastic. My skin looks great. I look
glowing.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here getting redder by the minute. I'm getting sunburned in my own fucking basement. This is incredible. By my fucking ring light.
Yeah, it's cooking you.
Hard.
It's cooking you.
Hard. All right, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the top 5 worst storylines, in our opinion. And I think, a couple of them could be debatable, but I feel like we hit the nail in the coffin.
I think we picked out some pretty good ones that were like, what?
Yeah.
So let us know your opinions. Let us know your what the fuck moments, your WTF moments that you've kind of witnessed over the
By far, this would be my favorite episode next to the craziest segments.
See, because they were so out there.
We really got to
Yeah.
explore the lore of the forgotten in WWE.
And the not so forgotten.
Not so forgotten. And you know what? I think we're going to do something for the next couple of shows that's really exciting. I'm going to throw one of the episodes now. I don't think we've done this yet, and I think it deserves to be done. I want to do top 5 tag teams.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know I'm a tag team guy.
knew
We got to.
You were going to do the tags.
And you know what? I'm not going to just say that this is top 5 tag teams WWE. I'm opening this up.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna do top 5 tag teams, and since I did 2, 3, and or 5, 3, and 1 this week, I will give you.
Oh,
I will be a good friend.
Oh, you'll be a good friend.
I will be a good friend. I'm gonna give
me
you...
the daunting task of 1, 3, and 5.
Dude, I will take 1, 3, and 5. I've got them all listed right now. Got them all listed right now, and I think I also think another one we should do.
Yeah.
Top 5. This should be a double episode.
Mm.
Top 5 worst and top 5 best factions of all time.
Oh, okay.
A juxtaposition.
Okay.
So we do the tag teams, and then we do kind of like a back-to-back. Part 1 being the 5 worst. Part 2 being the 5 best.
Okay.
I've got our next 2 episodes lined up. See what I did for you? I made sure your vacation is stress-free.
Guys, I think everybody should just take a moment here and recognize how great of a friend George is, but also recognize that when he does nice things, he needs to point them out to you and bring attention to them. So I don't know how nice that nice thing was now anymore. So we may need to work on that a little bit. But
is this thing on? Fuck. Unbelievable. All right, well, whatever. Anyways, a vacation was made stress-free. George just thought of 2 amazing concepts. Whether, whatever. But anyways.
I'm also going to need that luggage for my trip.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Michelle comes over to record, guys, but also, hey, give me your luggage, George. Hey, me.
I'm leaving the country. I'm gonna go sit on a beach for a week and a half. So
hope you get bit by any kind of insect that's out there.
Get you a friend like George, guys. I can't say it enough.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
And a record deal, apparently.
Whether your name is Mikey or Nikki, you got a friend in me. All right, guys, that's it for this one. This is top 5 worst storylines ever, or segments, or anything.
Failed experiments.
Just bad.
the bad
We
stuff.
actually should have just called this top 5 WTF. That's what we should have called it. The
That you
top
know
5
what?
WTF.
I like that. Top 5 WTFs.
Yeah,
I like that.
top 5 WTFs. So that's what this is, guys. And as always, don't forget to check us out on our social. Straight Talk Wrestling for me everywhere. And
Michelle Arujo with double underscore. As always, it's your host, your boy, George Mackay,
hmm,
the voice of reason, Michelle Arujo, signing off. Peace, love, and wrestling, y'all.
she took everything. Wow. Wow.
Next, I'll take your girl.
You know,
You're okay
that's
with
it.
that?
All right, guys. That's it. Peace,
Bye.
love, and wrestling. We'll see you next week.